Towards the end of 2020, Mercedes-Benz India launched the AMG GLC43, making it one of the more important launches in the country. Now, in case you're wondering how come an AMG launch is important, because in terms of volumes, there isn't much that this model or any other AMG model would do. Well, you're right. But what makes this launch so important is the fact that this was the first made in India AMG by Mercedes, and from that respect, it was a great step for the Indian automotive sector. Now, keeping that part aside, well, what are the changes in this vehicle? What kind of upgrades it has? And is it still a fun to drive AMG or not? That's exactly what we'll find out over the next few minutes. Now, this facelift AMG GLC43 isn't radically different from the earlier CBU unit, but again, being an AMG model, it does have the kind of aggressive look you would expect. So it's got this huge grille up front with the chrome inserts, and it definitely helps give it a muscular stance. You've also got these fins on the bumper, and the bumper itself has a lot of aggressive creases, these neat looking LED headlamps, and of course the strong hood character lines. All of these things come together and give the face of this vehicle a muscular and a purposeful intent. Move on to the side and you're greeted to larger 20-inch alloy wheels with a striking design, and of course then there's the lowered hunkered down stance coupled up with the sloping coupe roof line, which adds a lot of flair to these SUVs design. At the rear, you've got this aggressive looking rear spoiler, a rather neat looking tailgate, and you've got the sporty looking quad exhaust with a diffuser setup. So all of these things do a good job of giving the GLC43 a purposeful look, and if you're looking for an SUV that displays its performance intent with its looks, this one surely does. And now let's talk about the in-cabin experience of this performance SUV. Now, before I get to the most interesting part, and that's the performance, well, a bit about the interior. Now, this one has a nicely laid out interior. I mean, it looks good. The material quality, the build quality, the ergonomics are spot on. So yes, I mean, top marks for that perspective. Also, if you look at the infotainment system, again, now this one gets Mercedes Me. It has the MBUX. So of course, it's got the advantage of good connectivity. The touchscreen itself is quite nice. The instrument cluster up front is nice, gives you loads of information. Again, the seats are good, very supportive seats, especially when you're going hard around corners. Well, that's when you find how good these seats are around the bends. Even at the rear, surprisingly, despite the sloping roof design, there is a good amount of headroom, and there's a decent amount of leg room, knee room as well. The seats are reasonably comfortable. They could have done with a little more under thigh support, but come on, hey, who's gonna buy this for rear seat comfort, right? So yes, as far as daily drivability is concerned and practicality is concerned, you can easily use the AMG GLC43 as a daily driver, and you will not have much to complain. And now getting to the best part, and that's the performance. Well, this one is powered by a 3-liter V6 turbo petrol engine, and in this facelift version, it has got a software update, as a result of which power has gone up from the earlier version by about 20 horsepower to a total of 390 horsepower. Now, coming to the engine performance, well, the engine performance is good. It's got a good amount of shove and poke. So yes, slam the throttle and you are pinned back to your seat. And the GLC43 in this version can do not 200 kilometers in a shade under 6 seconds, which is a good time considering it's more than 1,500 kilograms in total weight. Now, even if you talk about the gearbox, well, it gets a modern gearbox. It's a 9-speed gearbox. The only slight issue here is that the way the gearbox and the engine have been married, well, there seems to be kind of a struggle. They do not seem to work seamlessly, and as a result of that, it takes some time to getting used to the shift points, and it's not a car that you can just sit into and start driving quickly. So yes, the gearbox marriage with the engine could have been a little better, and that would have just made it a little more seamless and a bit more fun to drive. Nonetheless, it still offers quick shifts, and even when you're in normal comfort or drive mode, well, the car converts itself to a very docile and a refined petrol vehicle, and goes about normally as you would expect a normal petrol SUV too. So yes, juggles very well between two opposite traits. In terms of handling, it's got a stiffer suspension, which you would expect from an AMG. So yes, handling, be it on straight line or around the corners, is quite impressive. The steering is quite nice. It's a very direct ratio steering, so you get quick turn-ins, and you get confident handling from the vehicle as well. It responds well to steering inputs. There is a bit of body roll despite the stiff suspension setup, but nonetheless, it's not to the point where you would feel bothered about it. I mean, it's an SUV, so there would be some body roll. Talking about ride quality, well, despite the suspension being set up on the firmer side, it's not really bad, so it's not going to break your back. You can drive in this daily, you can go to the office without hurting your back. Yes, I wouldn't say it's comfortable, but at the same time, it is manageable, and you can live through it easily. So yes, it's fast, it's quick, it is also fast around corners. But one of the other important factors that defines the joy of driving a performance vehicle is the oral pleasure, and well, that is again one department where this vehicle gets good marks, and that is because it of course gets the AMG hotkeys, where you, at the press of a button, you can change the sound mode for the exhaust. So you can go from a normal to a more louder aggressive note. You can again change the suspension settings, and you can also go from your normal automatic to a manual gearbox. All of this at the click of a button. You of course have the drive modes, Sport and Sport Plus being the best ones if you are itching to go fast, but you also have the usual comfort in individual mode, and there's also a slippery mode, which, well, of course, it hasn't been raining, so we haven't been able to put it at test. So yes, even when it comes to the exhaust sound, it has a good note, and it will put a big joy on your face. And as to how it sounds, you can hear the sound coming inside the cabin, and it is thoroughly loud. And the best part is you get rewarded to loud pops and crackles every time you cross about 5,000 RPM and back off the throttle, or you're shifting around the 6,000 mark. And that is what makes it so much more engaging to drive. So at the end of the day, we can establish that the Mercedes-Benz AMG GLC43 offers a decent mix of daily practicality, ease of driving, along with good performance. And if that is what you're looking for, nestled in a nice dynamic looking package which also has a good set of features, well, this one does check pretty much all the right boxes. When it comes to pricing, well, this model has been priced at a little under 77 lakh rupees ex-showroom, and that's a little over the price of the earlier CBU model. So while you're paying a shade over the earlier price tag, you're getting additional features, you're getting more power, and of course, you have an overall good vehicle to drive from a performance as well as a practicality point of view. This is the reason why the AMG GLC43 is one of the better options in the performance car segment under rupees 1 crore today. And no wonder I keep seeing a lot more of these ever since they became made in India. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and also press that small bell icon so you can stay connected to all of the forthcoming Express Drives videos.